Creative babble.
70,000 people are here, and Bob Dylan is the reason for it.
Inspired by their true story.
If anyone is going to hold your attention on a stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
And starring Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He defied everyone.
Turn it down!
Play loud!
To change everything.
Make some noise, BD.
Timothy Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro. A complete unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
All right, so it's that time of year when many of us are hopping in our cars, taking long road trips, sitting in traffic, or waiting in the airports for hours and hours and hours, traveling to see friends and family. And so I wanted to reissue one of my Christmas specials. Yes, a pretend con artist Christmas special called The Christmas Con. So you may have heard this one before, but it's been a while for me, and I got a kick out of listening to it again. So enjoy. This is The Christmas Con.
During the Christmas season, Santa sends an elf to every child's home to see if they're being naughty or nice. All day they watch their child, never blinking and never moving, and each night they return to the North Pole to report back to Santa.
Who came up with the elf on the shelf? Seriously. Who thought it was a good idea to hide an elf each and every night? It never fails. My wife and I head to the bedroom. I lay down, I turn over, close my eyes, and sit up in a panic. Did you remember to move the elf? Of course I didn't remember. Ugh. Now I have to walk all the way downstairs, move the elf, and each year it gets more complicated. It started with one elf. His name was Elliot. Then the next year, they introduced the girl elf. We now have 3 freaking elves to move around every night. And they can't just move. They have to do something creative. I really hate this tradition, but I must admit, sometimes it's a little fun when the elves do something naughty, but trying to come up with something clever every night gets old really fast. But now that we've started this insane tradition, we can't just stop. One year, I snuck into my oldest daughter's room. Surely she should be asleep by now, right? I slowly open the door and quietly step in. That's when 2 big eyes pop open. I quickly moved my hand behind my back, but it was too late. She asked, "Daddy, why are you holding the elf?" I said, "I'm not holding the elf. I'm here to give you medicine." That was the only thing I could think of, medicine. And she wasn't even sick. Oh boy. So the next night, we're having dinner and I thought, I got away with it. Maybe she thought it was all a dream. But boy, was I wrong.
I literally saw him with it, Daddy with his hand, with his elf in the hand.
You were caught elf-handed?
I did not have
Yeah, you ran into my
I did not have an elf.
You ran into my room like this. He comes around the corner screaming, "Here's your medicine!" But screams on the top of his lungs.
Why would I give you medicine?
Like, do you need medicine?
What followed was a full-blown interrogation. So I pulled out my phone and started recording.
And also I saw a magazine where I could find Elliot, the exact Elliot. On
We
the
never
Target
claimed that they
magazine.
aren't.
It was exactly Elliot.
Yeah, we've never claimed that. And we've never claimed that we are doing it or are not doing it. All we have said about the entire Christmas spirit is that if you believe, good things happen. And if you don't believe, it ends.
We all know that.
I give my wife full credit for trying to stop the bleeding, but we were totally unprepared for what was about to happen next. If the elf on the shelf isn't real, then what else are we lying about?
We all know that Easter Bunny's not real, right? Yeah, Lauren saw it. Lauren watched you hide the egg.
Lauren saw the Easter Bunny?
No, I saw you. What?
So wait, I'm the Easter Bunny?
Lauren was looking out the window and he was hiding at the old house right at the tree, the big tree in the front. Last year, so we were all the way over by the playhouse and we were like thinking, we don't see any more of the like eggs over there, and I said, I don't think there's any more over there. And he said, yeah, I never hid any over there.
I did not say that.
You did.
I didn't say it.
Yes, you did.
So I'm the Easter Bunny, I'm the elf on the shelf, and what else am I? Jeez.
You're Jesus.
You're Jesus. We all call you Father, the Holy Spirit. Well, that is definitely the Easter Bunny. He admitted it.
So guess what?
My oldest had me pinned, but my youngest was like, wait. I still want to believe.
I think Santa's real, though.
Oh.
Yeah, I do.
Are you sure, or do you just want the gifts?
No, I think I do.
I think I believe in Santa. That one year when Santa did come on the screen, I knew that it was photoshopped by Daddy.
Yeah,
for us to believe in him. But I think
I saw how fast he could Photoshop a ghost behind me in a mirror.
It's true, I once Photoshopped a ghost in a mirror behind them to freak them out. Don't judge me.
Easter Bunny anymore. What about the Tooth Fairy? Where are we standing on this nowadays?
I believe in the Tooth Fairy.
Considering you have some loose teeth in your head right now, where do we stand on this?
I'll say I'll remember until my last tooth falls down.
I believe in Santa. I believe in the Tooth Fairy, the elf, but the Easter Bunny. Kind of. I believe.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about Christmas cons. In our first segment, you're going to hear about a real-life Grinch who planned a Christmas extravaganza so big that he fooled hundreds of children in the city of Miami, only to crush their spirits. It's a holiday grift that's so hard to believe if it wasn't true. We're also going to end the episode with stories from you. I asked my listeners to submit stories about when they learned the truth about Christmas. So stick around to the end because these stories are great. I'm Javier Leiva, and this is Pretend. Stories about real people pretending to be someone else.
Looking for a pickup truck to get just about anything done? Look no further. The Chevy Silverado EV isn't just the most powerful Silverado ever, with next-level towing capability and technology. It also offers game-changing versatility with the available multi-flex midgate and tailgate, which means Silverado EV helps you carry large, bulky, and oddly shaped items up to nearly 11 feet in length. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Visit Chevrolet.com to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
David Ellisor got an idea.
Got a wonderful, awful idea.
In Miami's sun, where the palm trees sway, David Ellisor had a thought one bright sunny day. What if, he pondered with a mischievous grin, I host a grand event where we can all join in? A 3-day wonder, a spectacle to see. Christmas from around the world, oh, what a joy it will be. Pageants and presents for every girl and boy, even live reindeer to bring them joy. A feast to remember with tastes from afar. under Christmas trees twinkling like a bright star. Decorations, art from lands wide and vast, and ambassadors from 28 nations. A truly grand cast. David Ellisor must have thought, it's going to be amazing. Imagine how much money I can make. I mean, how much Christmas cheer I can spread. That's right, cheer. But here's the twist. In our tale so bold, David Ellisor's intentions weren't quite as gold. He never planned for this event to be real. Yet, he collected checks with a dishonest zeal. All right, enough with the Dr. Seuss impersonation. I can do that all day, by the way. This isn't a tale from a children's book. No, it's a real-life Grinch story of a man named David Lee Ellisor, who dreamed up a 3-day event called Christmas from Around the World. He collected money from teachers and students from across Miami-Dade County for this fake event. But here's the thing. If you're going to host the greatest Christmas event the world has ever seen, but will never actually happen, you still have to convince people that it's real. So they could pay you. The first thing Ellisor did was get a sponsor. A real big reputable sponsor like the University of Miami. So he convinced a part-time lecturer at the University of Miami's art school to write a letter with the university's letterhead confirming that the school was a sponsor. Now that he had a big name backing him, he needed to figure out how to feed thousands of children and teachers at this fake event. So he called party caterers.
Hello.
Hi, is this Michael?
Yes, it is.
Michael Schott was the owner of Party Caterers.
We did everything. We parties, dinner for two, big events, weddings.
I asked Michael about the first time he met David Ellisor.
Well, my first encounter was something didn't seem right. So he came to my office and he was trying to sell this whole trip. And for some reason, something just didn't seem right with the guy. So we went ahead up to almost the last day, and we backed out right at the last day. And when he pulled all the buses up, or did not pull all the buses up, that was part of the problem. He didn't do anything he said.
How did David Ellisor sell this idea to you? Like, what was his pitch when he told you this?
Well, his pitch was, we got all these Catholic school kids. We're taking them on a field trip. He charged them a certain amount, and then also was doing a box lunch. When he came to me, I said, sure, I can do it, no problem. It's, certain things just didn't seem right with him. So we were kind of sketchy at best.
But why would a con artist throwing a fake Christmas party order real food for a party he never intends to host? Did he leave a deposit or anything?
No, that was part of the problem. When he tried to give me a check, it bounced. So that there was another thing. I just knew something wasn't right.
Why would he get money out of you? Wouldn't it be
like, he was trying to get money as a kickback for doing the party. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get these party guys or special events guys, I guess, and they'll throw you a job and they want a cut. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
They want a percentage. Yeah.
So not only did he want your service, he wanted to make money out of this thing.
Correct. He wanted a kickback.
That's right. In August of 2003, David Ellisor approached Michael Schott, the owner of the catering company, to offer his company, Party Caterers, the sole concession rights to Christmas from around the world. But that would require an upfront payment. Party Caterers' concession rights would include the right to serve alcohol and dinners for the diplomats, and $5 lunches to the students who visited the show. David Ellisor even promised Michael Schott 20% of the show's total revenue to ensure that, he wouldn't lose a thing. This wasn't their first meeting. In fact, David Ellisor dropped by Michael Schott's office over and over again, asking for more money. Eventually, David Ellisor received almost $8,000 from Party Caterers. All right, so he has a sponsor and food lined up for his fake event. Now he needs decorations. David Ellisor contacted the Christmas Palace. The Christmas Palace, for those of you not familiar with the Miami area, is a year-round Christmas store. When David Ellisor showed up, he pitched the idea to the store's owner that, quote, all the ambassadors from around the world were behind this and supportive of the idea. Ellisor also told the Christmas Palace owner that the University of Miami, the Doubletree Hotel, the City of Miami Fire and Police Department were all sponsors of the show. David Ellisor practically begged the store owner to become a sponsor and to donate Christmas trees and decorations. But the shop owner denied him every time he asked. But David Ellisor is not one to take no for an answer. He claimed on his flyer that the Christmas Palace was indeed a sponsor of the Christmas from Around the World event. And at some point, the shop's owner must have given David Ellisor the Christmas Palace FedEx account number so that, I guess, Ellisor could send him information about the show. So what did David Ellisor do with that FedEx number? Well, he used it to send invitations out to the schools. Almost $2,000 worth of charges, and the Christmas Palace was completely unaware. With the Christmas Palace FedEx account in hand, David Ellisor mailed out the invitations to teachers at public and private schools all across Miami-Dade County, encouraging their students to take this amazing field trip to see the Christmas show. The invitation read, quote, "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet 28 foreign ambassadors, view Christmas trees decorated with ornaments from countries and other cultural art exhibits, and receive thousands of dollars worth of sponsored gifts." The cost of the show was $10 per student, made payable to the University Diplomatic Trust account, which, by the way, is an account managed by David Ellisor. Teachers from 23 schools filled out registration forms, receiving tickets for students ranging from 3rd grade all the way to 5th grade. And as you can imagine, everyone thought this was a wonderful idea. But some students wanted more details about the event, so they called up David Ellisor. According to some teachers, Ellisor made the show sound even better than what was on the invitation. He promised that there would be hundreds of lights and characters like Harry Potter going around talking to the kids in the crowd. He promised a hot Christmas lunch, an educational scavenger hunt, even live reindeer. The teachers thought, this is great. What can go wrong, right? Pretty soon, David Ellisor started receiving checks from the schools and deposited it into his University Diplomatic Trust account. And get this, the school even arranged and paid for bus transportation to get the students to this event. Here's Michael Schott again.
They gave him all the money up front. You know what I mean? Meaning for the tickets. He sold tickets and they got scammed on all the tickets. Let's put it that way.
But just a day after receiving all the checks from the school, David Ellisor checked into a suite at the DoubleTree Hotel, where he stayed for the next 2 weeks. He called up Enterprise Rent-A-Car and asked them to deliver a luxury Jaguar to drive around town. A few days later, he swapped the Jag for a Cadillac DeVille. So you're probably thinking to yourself, what is the end game here? Great question. I'm not really sure. Because while all of this is going on, Ellisor is still planning the event, or at least telling people he was. David Ellisor met with the convention center manager at the Coconut Grove Expo Center, Gregory Wright. David Ellisor told the convention center manager the same story he told everyone else. He asked to hold the convention center from December 1st through the 5th. Ellisor even left a deposit for $2,500. After securing the dates, it was time for Ellisor to make the next payment for the event space. He wrote a check for $5,000, but the check bounced. At this point, the convention center manager suspected something was fishy, so he told Ellisor that they no longer accept checks. Ellisor assured Wright that he had plenty of money coming in, and a few days later, Ellisor showed up with $1,000 in cash, about $4,000 short. Ellisor must have been panicking. This insanely elaborate scam was starting to unravel. He reportedly asked one of the teachers to give the school's check for $1,000 directly to the convention center, but he needed more cash. So he drove to another elementary school to pick up a check, this time for $2,000. But the school administrator didn't just hand over the money. They looked him up and down because here they have this fast-talking salesman with a worn-out suit and a disheveled appearance, not only asking for money, but asking for money now. Who does that? The school principal asked Ellisor if the show is going to live up to the hype. Ellisor said, yeah. I asked Michael Schott to describe David Ellisor, and he too was concerned about his appearances.
He came to my office like 3 times, and the one time his suit, he had a cockroach on his suit. That was like a big telltale sign. Something wasn't right.
Okay, yeah. All right, back up. So this wasn't like a well-dressed guy then, right?
Well, he came in kind of with a jacket and, he had pants on. He was trying to be well-dressed, but just, like I said, something wasn't right.
What do you mean he had a cockroach? Like it snuck out of his suit, or what?
Yeah, it was like pressed in his suit. Yes.
David Ellisor never quite scrounged up enough money to pay off the remaining balance for the convention center. He also failed to get proper permits, license, and an insurance policy required to book the convention space. This event is going to fail, and it is going to fail fast. When we come back from the break, we are going to talk about what happened when kids arrived at the convention center. But first, a word from today's sponsor.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids instantly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Sign up for Greenlight today at greenlight.com/Spotify.
At New Balance, we believe if you run, you're a runner, however you choose to do it. Because when you're not worried about doing things the right way, you're free to discover your way. And that's what running's all about. Run your way at newbalance.com/running.
The big day has arrived. Do you remember how exciting it was to go on a field trip? Nothing beats field trip day. The children arrived at school early, they filed into the buses, and headed to the greatest Christmas extravaganza they will never see. Nobody knows that this thing is not going to happen, right? Like, everybody thinks that the plan is still on. So did you make all that food? Did you show up?
No. That was the reason. When his check bounced, and then the day came, and I said, if you don't come with cash, we're not going to do it. And sure enough, I get a call, why aren't you guys here? I'm like, did the buses show up? Did anything show up that he said? And nope. So that's kind of where it just went awry.
There were no Christmas trees or decorations, no tables, chairs, sound system, or art. There were no ambassadors, no Harry Potters, and especially no David Ellisors. On December 3rd, 2003, the first day of the Christmas Around the World show, Ellisor wrote and cashed a check for the remaining balance of the University Diplomatic Trust account. And in the lower left-hand corner of the check, he wrote, quote, "for presents," in the memorandum line. With cash in his pocket, he went to the car dealer and purchased a luxury car. Meanwhile, the children showed up at the convention center, but the doors were locked. They looked through the glass windows, and the whole place was empty. As you can imagine, the teachers were confused, but most of them were pretty upset. They called Ellisor's number, but the phone kept ringing. Eventually, they got an answering machine message saying, "This is David. I'm sorry to inform you that the show has been postponed because we didn't have enough money to buy presents. The city of Miami would not accept the school's checks, and we are sorry about the last-minute delay. The field trip has been postponed until a couple weeks from now. We are sorry." But unlike the Grinch, this story doesn't have a warm and fuzzy ending. It wasn't Christmas Day will always be just as long as we have we. No, it was more like, where the hell is this MFer who sold us a bag of goods? All in all, approximately 2,700 tickets were purchased for the Christmas show. No refunds were ever given. Everyone involved lost collectively $42,000 that day. Michael Schott with the party caterers lost almost $8,000. The DoubleTree Hotel, $1,600. And the Christmas Palace lost $2,000 from all those FedEx charges. But the biggest losers were the children and the schools. Altogether, the schools sent in $24,000 in checks that were deposited to the University Diplomatic Trust account, a Bank of America account managed by Ellisor. A few days later, after multiple complaints, the FBI got involved. They sought a warrant with the judge's neat scrawl for Mr. Ellisor, who evaded them all. Christmas twinkled and faded, the New Year did too, but Mr. Ellisor, where was he? Not a single clue. The calendar flipped, as calendars do, from December the last to January anew. 2004 it was, where hopes had gone. But Mr. Ellisor, he was still on the run. Almost a month with the chase far from fun, when finally, Ellisor's freedom was done. He turned himself in with a sigh and a shrug. In a world of whimsy, a tale of a hugger-mugger snug. So what did the investigation find? According to the records, David Ellisor wrote checks to himself, his girlfriend, and the part-time art professor at the university. There were other charges too. David Ellisor bought groceries, went to the dry cleaners, bought tires, wine, sunglasses, rented Blockbuster videos, and had hotel charges on the backs of children and vendors. But let's dig into this hotel stay at the Doubletree Hotel. David Ellisor paid for more than just a place to lay his head. Ellisor charged in-room movies to his room. What kind of movies? He claimed it was, quote, rock and roll movies, but the evidence shows that it was actually, yep, you guessed it, porn. Oh, but wait, there's more to this plot. After his arrest, investigators discovered that this wasn't the first time David Ellisor bamboozled school children. He was accused of pulling off the same scheme in California, Missouri, Colorado, and Arizona. Instead of Christmas from Around the World, this event was called Washington, D.C. on Tour. The invitation promised students 41 exhibits of art and history about our nation's capital. And just like in Miami, Ellisor canceled the show and was nowhere to be found. The state of Utah fined Ellisor $31,000 for failure to refund the students. At trial, David Ellisor took the stand. He told the jury that he was a private detective, a diplomatic liaison, a show producer, and a guitarist. He admitted that no specific ambassador had confirmed to attend the Christmas from Around the World show, and he pointed to a disclaimer on the invitation that said, quote, specific ambassadors may or may not appear. But the jury did not buy it. At 52 years old, David Lee Ellisor was convicted on 8 counts of mail fraud and was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison and was ordered to pay $38,000 in restitution. The court found Ellisor's offense to be so, quote, reprehensible to take money from young, impressionable, and vulnerable children. Children who had the expectation that they were going to attend something very special. The court also found that, quote, Mr. Ellisor had a long track record of engaging in fraudulent behavior. And there is no doubt in the court's mind that Mr. Ellisor would resume his pattern of deceitful conduct in the future if given a mere slap on the wrist. The court was convinced that, quote, given the chance, Ellisor would do it all over again, and that the only way to protect the small children and others from his phony operations is to keep him behind bars. In the tale of David Ellisor, with its twists and its turns, a question lingers as the Christmas light burns. Did his heart, so small, in the end find its way to grow 3 sizes larger on that fateful day? With schemes and deceptions now brought to light, did he see the error? Did he make it right? Did the spirit of Christmas, with its joy and its cheer, touch his heart and draw honesty near? The truth is, I'm not sure. I've searched federal court case databases, newspaper archives, Google, YouTube. It seems David Ellisor disappeared off the face of the earth. When we come back, we're going to listen to some of our listeners' Christmas con stories. That's after the break. Our first story comes from listener Liana.
So I'm putting myself into my 10-year-old mind. I can picture it very clearly. I'd walked into my parents' bedroom to look for a pair of stockings. And mind you, I was 10, but I was also a pretty tall child. So I was about 5'5" maybe at this point in my life. And so I could borrow my mother's stockings. So I grabbed a pair, and when I was digging through the drawer, I noticed a big stack of letters addressed to none other but Santa Claus. So I grabbed the stack of letters and realize that something is really wrong. I run to the bathroom where I know my sister is showering, and with no regard for any kind of privacy, I fling open the shower door and I say, "What is this? What are all these letters doing here?" And she said, mind you, she's 13. Remember, we had to rewrite all of the letters to Santa. So I think those are just copies that mom saved. Immediately, I knew I was being had. And so I made her tell me the truth. I approached my mom. I was devastated and crying. It was pretty memorable and devastating. I love the magic of it. I still do. I do it for my kids. Although we're having conversations about what does it really mean to lead kids on and allow them to believe in something that's not true. It's a struggle for sure. But I certainly appreciate the magic that my parents created for me.
Here's one from Randy Lafussier.
I'm not sure if this counts as a Christmas story or not, although it did happen around Christmas time. My parents had taken us to an A&W drive-in restaurant. I don't know if you had these where you grew up, and maybe they had disappeared by the time you grew up. But these were the old-fashioned kind of drive-ins like you see in movies from the 50s. You'd drive your car up, and there'd be a tray that you would put into the window of the car, and waitresses would come out on roller skates to serve you your food. Well, we had ordered those delicious tall glasses of frosted A&W root beer floats. We loved those. And when we were going home, my parents took those glasses and put them in the car, and we drove away. They had always told us that stealing was wrong. And we were terrified sitting in the back seat of the car because we felt that the police were going to just chase us down and arrest my parents for stealing those glasses. We got home, and we begged my parents to please take the glasses back because we didn't want them to go to jail. We didn't know what we would do if they went to jail. So my mother, not wanting to see us crying any longer, said, "Okay, we're going to take the glasses back. Don't worry about it. They're gone." Roll forward several years, and I was talking to my mom about it, and she told me, "We never took those glasses back. We just threw them away." My sister and I were horrified because we'd always been told that the greatest sin you could do in life was to lie. And here my parents had not only stolen those glasses, but they'd lied to us about it. I don't think I ever felt the same about them after that, even though I always loved my parents.
Here's Katie Watson with her story.
Hi, Javier. I was thinking about the deceptions that we perpetrate around Santa. And I was thinking that myself personally, I've got 2 children, and every year I have to make sure that I've bought different wrapping paper that they haven't seen, so that anything I wrap up in the stocking, they're not going to be like, "Oh, that's the same wrapping paper that we've got," because then they'll put 2 and 2 together. And then last year, we went away for Christmas and our luggage was delayed. And I was thinking of all the lies I'd have to tell them about why Santa hadn't come that year, because all the stocking stuff was in the luggage. And then I was thinking, why? Why do we have to do this? They're getting a bit older now. My daughter yesterday said Santa isn't real, but we had to make her be quiet because her little brother was quite nearby, so I haven't really had that conversation with her yet. But yeah, the whole thing just is getting more and more stressful. Oh well, thanks for your great show. Hope you have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.
We're wrapping things up with Alana.
Hi, Javier. My name is Alana, and I thought I might want to share my story of how my sister and I learned about Santa Claus. So just for context and background, my sister and I were raised on a 120-acre plot of land in the middle of the country, in the middle of nowhere. This is just to kind of understand that we had a very against the grain type of upbringing. And our mother was extremely pragmatic and practical, not emotional at all, definitely didn't understand the emotional needs of children. So what I remember is that our mother kind of pulling us aside one day and saying, do you know the truth about Santa Claus? And we said, no. And she said, well, Santa Claus isn't real. I'm the one who's been doing all of that work. And she gave us a book. I wish I knew what book this was. I wish I could track it down. What I remember most clearly is that the book had woodcut prints in it. And I remember that very clearly because the images accompanying the story were quite disturbing and alarming. What I remember from the story is that the real man who back in the Middle Ages, perhaps, this man had rescued and saved children from being pickled in barrels. And I distinctly remember woodcut prints of children's body parts sticking out of a wooden barrel. And this man, I guess that was something that happened to children back then. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But this man rescued them. And because of his love for saving children's lives or something, apparently that was how he was sainted. And so we got the 1-2 punch of not only learning that Santa Claus was not real, but that children apparently can be cut into pieces and pickled in barrels. It was quite an awakening for us, and something that we have stuck with me my entire life. All right, take care. Thank you. I love your show, Javier. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
These were great stories. In fact, if you have a cool Christmas story, send it to me. Maybe I'll put it in the show next year. All right, everyone. I hope those who celebrate have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Each and every one of you listening holds a very special place in my heart. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. And just know that there are going to be great shows lined up next year as soon as the new year starts, including the brand new season of Criminal Conduct, when we're going to drop all the episodes at once. So be on the lookout for that. Plus Ponzi Playbook. We've been recording season 2, and that should be right around the corner. Also, in a few days, I'm going to air my collaboration with the Wine and Crime podcast and Navigating Advocacy. It's just a light episode where we talk shop and kind of play little games. It's kind of fun. I hope you enjoy it. All right, that's it for now. Thank you, and we'll talk very soon.
This holiday season, surprise everyone on your list with the best gifts. Tickets to see their favorite artists live. Choose from thousands of concerts and comedy shows, including Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, Matt Matthews, Metallica, Thomas Rhett, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Sarah Silverman, and so many more. Share a memory together or give a gift they'll never forget. Find the most exciting gift for every fan at livenation.com/gifts. That's livenation.com/gifts.
Creative Pep.